Have you ever set your alarm for 5 a.m. with big plans, only to hit snooze and wake up at 8 and feeling guilty? Maybe you've tried it once, twice, maybe 10 times, but you always go back to old habits. You tell yourself, I'm just not a morning person. I need my sleep. But what if I told you that the first hour of your day holds the power to change your entire life? What if one man's story could prove that your destiny is decided before the sun rises? This is the story of a man who had nothing until 5 a.m. became his secret weapon. Stay with me, because this might be the wake-up call you've been waiting for. Once upon a time, in a rundown apartment on the wrong side of town, there lived a man named David. 31 years old, working night shifts at a warehouse, coming home at 2 a.m. smelling like sweat and cardboard. His alarm would go off at noon, he'd stumble out of bed, eat whatever was left in the fridge, and wait for his next shift. Every single day, the same cycle. Work, sleep, exist. His ex-wife had left him 2 years earlier. "You have no ambition," she'd said. "You're going nowhere." She was right. David woke up to find an eviction notice taped to his door. 30 days to pay $2,400 or get out. He checked his bank account. $340. He sat on the floor of his empty living room and did something he hadn't done in years. He cried. Not because of the money, not because of the apartment. He cried because he realized he'd wasted a decade of his life in survival mode, never actually living. That night at the warehouse, David met Raymond. Raymond was the new supervisor, but something was different about him. While everyone else dragged themselves through the shift, Raymond had this energy, this focus.
During their break, David asked, "Man, how are you not exhausted? You work the same hours we do." Raymond smiled. "I don't work the same hours. I work 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. here, but my real work happens from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. David was confused. "What do you mean your real work?" "I wake up at 5 a.m. every single day. I've been doing it for 3 years. That's when I built my side business. That's when I learned everything that changed my life. The warehouse pays my bills, but 5 a.m. is where I build my future."
David laughed. "Man, I get off at 2 a.m. You want me to wake up 3 hours later?" Raymond didn't laugh. He looked David dead in the eyes. "Let me ask you something. Where will you be in 5 years if nothing changes?" David felt that question deeply. "Exactly where I am now, or homeless." "Then what do you have to lose? Try it for 1 week, just 7 days. Wake up at 5 a.m. and do one thing that your future self will thank you for." David wanted to say no. Every part of him wanted to say no. But that eviction notice was sitting on his kitchen counter. So the next morning, when his alarm went off at 5 a.m., he did something he'd never done before.
He didn't hit snooze. He got up. His body was screaming. He'd only slept 2.5 hours. But he made coffee, sat at his kitchen table, and opened his laptop. He had no idea what to do, so he just searched how to make extra money fast. For 90 minutes, he researched, took notes, made a plan. At 6:30 a.m., he went back to bed. When he woke up at noon, something felt different. He'd actually done something, built something, moved forward. Day 2 was harder. His body hurt. He wanted to sleep so badly. But he remembered Raymond's words. 1 week, just 7 days. So he got up. This time, he spent 90 minutes learning about freelance work online. Discovered he could offer simple services, data entry, virtual assistants, basic graphic design. Day 3, he created accounts on freelancing platforms. Day 4, he applied to his first 20 gigs, got rejected by all of them.
Day 5, he wanted to quit, but he got up anyway. Day 6, he got his first response. Someone needed help with data entry, would pay $50 for 3 hours of work.
David almost cried. $50 felt like a fortune. Day 7, he completed the job, got paid, got his first 5-star review. Raymond noticed the change immediately. "You're doing it, aren't you?" David nodded. "1 week down, I made $50. Raymond smiled. "Now imagine if you keep going. 52 weeks in a year. What could you build?"
3 months later, David was making an extra $800 a month. It wasn't life-changing money yet, but it was enough to pay rent. 6 months later, he quit the night shift at the warehouse. His freelance income had grown to $3,000 a month, more than he'd ever made working 40 hours a week. A year later, David moved into a real apartment, 2 bedrooms, natural light, a neighborhood where kids played outside.
2 years later, David hired his first employee. 5 years later, he runs a virtual assistance company with 20 contractors working under him. He still wakes up at 5 a.m. every single day. Not because he has to anymore, because he knows who he became in those early morning hours. When people ask David what changed, he tells them the truth. It wasn't the business, it wasn't the money. It was becoming the kind of person who could win the war against the snooze button. Because here's what David learned. If you can't beat your alarm clock, you can't beat anything else in life. The discipline to get up when you don't want to is the same discipline that builds businesses, transforms bodies, and changes destinies. 5 a.m. isn't magic, but it's quiet. It's yours. Nobody's calling you, texting you, demanding things from you. It's the only time of day that belongs completely to your future, not your present. David says the first week almost killed him. The second week was just as hard, but by week 3, something shifted. His body adapted. His mind expected it. And by month 3, he couldn't imagine sleeping through that time anymore. I used to think successful people were just built different, David says now, but they're not. They just made different choices before the sun came up. You don't need a business plan. You don't need startup capital. You don't even need to know what you're going to do with that time yet. You just need to set that alarm for 5 a.m. tomorrow, and when it goes off, you need to make a decision. Do I want to be the person who hit snooze or the person who got up? Because that decision, repeated every single morning, is the difference between the life you have and the life you want. David was sleeping through his potential, 3 hours at a time, when Raymond asked him one question. Where will you be in 5 years if nothing changes? Most of you won't do it. You'll watch this, feel inspired, and change nothing. Prove me wrong. Comment, "I'm in," if you're setting that alarm. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's lock in and change our lives together.